From season 4, episode 4 was a crazy one. We prepped Jade for a wild journey, and Victor and Henry learn how to measure trees together. Join us.
Hello.
Hi, everybody. I'm Jazzy, liver in search of fava bean shamanic.
And I'm Dawn, Jim's possessed Tabitha Glenn.
We are here today discussing from season episode 4. What's the title of this one? Do you know?
I don't know.
I don't remember. I looked it up.
Let's call it A Bird in the Hand. It's worth 2 in a grave. And A Bird in the Hand is worth 2 in a grave.
We do get some... We get a new bird in this episode.
Yes, very exciting stuff.
We've never seen a different kind of bird.
Nope.
Myths and Monsters is the title. Use my ill preparedness. I have been terribly sick. Kelly is out sick. Fortunately, Dawn's far enough away.
I'm across the ocean and it hasn't hit me, so I'm safe. You still sound so sick, but we're pressing on as best we can. Just for you people. Look what we do for you.
Turning it out. We're getting it done. I may sound like, I don't know, somebody old and groggy, but
you sound like you've been on Jade's mushrooms. I don't know if they're advised treatment for.
I would not think that would be a fun time at all.
No.
Not even a little bit. All right, you want to get into our tops?
We'll do the recap first.
Yeah, of course. I work here. I know how this goes. Get the recap done.
I shall do the recap. We open at the sheriff's station as Boyd, Jade, Ellis, Donna, Tabitha, and Henry gather at the post office to discuss Victor's pant-wettingly visceral response to the yellow suit in the woods. Boyd is hopeful the man that wore it, who Miranda had painted all those years ago, is long gone, but wants to ask Victor about it. Daddy Henry stands firm that he is the only one who will question his traumatized son and tells everyone about the warning the boy in white gave Tabitha about time running out as a mic drop before leaving. Donna is uncomfortable that everyone there knows Tabitha used to be married to Henry, except Henry, and Boyd agrees with Tabitha that they need to be absolutely certain before introducing Henry to the whole Fromily never-ending Mormon wives situation. Donna fears Jade is about to push his shrooms onto Tabitha when he mentions that if Miranda knew who the man in yellow was, Tabitha must know too, and she appeals to Boyd to curb Jade's new hallucinogenic plan, mentioning eating a magical mushroom from an evil forest is probably not the best idea. Boyd points out they don't have much else in the way of ideas, and he'll be Jade's trip sitter. Donna heads out with Ellis to prepare for her own trip to the settlement, and Tabitha asks Boyd for a minute alone with her only husband left in the room. As morning arrives, Sarah checks on her new roommate, Sophia, who's sitting on the bed reading letters to the pastor. They both admit they haven't slept well, and Sarah broaches the topic worrying her. Does Sophia know everything she's done? Sophia assures her that she does, and she still wants to room with her because she knows Sarah is kind. Relieved, Sarah goes to make them breakfast, leaving Sophia to chant some demonic mutterings under her breath. Downstairs, Sarah is struck by a familiar pain. As she clutches her head, screaming in agony, Sophia runs to her to ask what's wrong, witch in yellow. After the titles, we're back at the post office. Tabitha wants to know how her son got free again and was in the woods with 2 annoying men. Jade fills her in on the Lake of Tears search and gently assures her some kids deal better with stuff by living in their imagination. Tabitha's bluster fades away and she apologizes for what she said to Jade in the barn and warns him to be careful with the mushrooms. Boyd re-enters, now the Eterna couple have settled their differences, and asks if everything's okay. Jade guffaws at the very notion and magic mushrooms in his mouth with gay abandon. At the Matthews house, Tabitha overhears Ethan calling for his dad on the CB radio, though he hides the apparatus like a playboy when she enters the room. Her heart clearly breaks a little when Ethan says he went to Victor about the Lake of Tears, because he knew she wouldn't believe him. He wants to prove Jim is still here. He's not gone. So, resolute to prove she's a better parent than Ghost Jim, she tells Ethan to pack a bag. He too is going on a trip. On the bus, Julie and Randall are despondently reading Ethan's books. When Randall finally hits on a key passage about Fred the Story Walker, the Grand Gulagog's cousin. When Tabitha interrupts the pair reading the passage together, they too react like the Gulagog is in Playboy and stash the books. When Julie refuses to go with Tabitha and Ethan, saying she'll be with Randall, Tabitha is possessed by the spirit of Jim. The pair reassure Julie's parent again it's not like that, but Tabitha takes Randall outside for a very Jim talk about not breaking Julie's trust in him, or she'll do unspeakable things to him. Somewhat of an empty threat when dude has that scar on his face, but still. She hugs Julie goodbye, promising to be back the next day before giving Randall a last warning look. At Colony House, Fatima is packing Ellis's bag and assuring him she'll be fine, while Donna gives Kenny the Airbnb guide to running Colony House and asks that he keep an eye on Fatima. Tabitha and Ethan join the merry troop and off they go. Fatima immediately heads to a room in the attic where Elgin is guarding a pile of cleats. He offers to help her with the rest of whatever it is she's doing, but she lets him know she has to do this part alone, and he's completed his restitution for her. Outside, Henry asks Victor if he can help him measure the trees. A distressed Victor doesn't like how fast everything is changing, but agrees to teach his father. Kenny, taking his duties seriously, traces some dripping water in the ceiling back to Fatima's secret room. But when he enters, she merely says hi as she piles the wet clay in a vaguely shaped mound. While Jade spins idly in Boyd's chair, waiting for the shrooms to hit, Boyd looks at his memory box at Abby's wedding ring, showing the infinity symbol carved inside. His painful memories of his wife are interrupted when Kenny arrives, his physical reality a disappointment to his still sober Jade, and suggests Boyd come and see what Fatima is up to. When Elgin walks into the church, he finds Sarah taking refuge there. Though she offers to leave, Elgin reminds her of their first meeting there, and Sarah decides to confide in him. After asking if the kimono woman has left him alone, now he's done what she wants, she reveals the voices are back, and they want her to go to the diner, pour a glass of water, take a sip, and tip the rest back into the jug. Elgin is confused how this equates to kidnapping a pregnant woman or killing a little boy. Sarah doesn't get it either, but she's worried if maybe someone drinks her evil cooties infected water, they'll catch the voices too, and she doesn't want that. But if she doesn't do it by midday, the voices say someone she cares about will be hurt until she does. Back outside, Henry interrupts the tree measuring to try and get Victor to talk to him about his reaction to the yellow suit. Though Victor seems to squirm away from the idea, Henry assures him they'll face it together, and Victor takes him to show them the answers. Boyd deposits Jade in the lounge at Colony House and goes to see Fatima, who explains to her confused father-in-law that she's making a monster. Now at her home, Julie reads aloud how Frank controls which parts of the story he wants to revisit. He makes bookmarks, which Julie decides is what she must do to be able to visit before her father died. When Randall is not convinced, pointing out the many other books on time travel, Julie theorizes that, like her mother dreamt of the settlement as a child, other people in the world could be dreaming of Fromville, and maybe the author dreamt of story walking and wrote it in a book. And the fact that this explanation is in the book Ethan had with him when they arrived is surely not a coincidence. When she threatens to do it with or without him, Randall, no doubt remembering Tabitha's look, asks, how do they create the bookmark? Fatima reassures Boyd everything is groovy with her, but Boyd, pointing out the Close Encounters-esque mud pile, thinks mayhaps not. Fatima explains that her father would tell her all about the different religions, as he believed all roads led to the divine, and there's one fable that he told her which she can't stop thinking about. Boyd, have you heard of a golem? Having had the explanation, Boyd leaves and explains the golem to Kenny. He says it's a champion, a protection, and as it's not hurting anyone, they should just leave Fatima to it. Kenny, however, points out that this isn't the Fatima either of them know, and they're both acutely aware of how this place can change people. Out on the trail, Tabitha explains to Donna why they have joined the party and expresses her fears about exploring the answers in her head and the consequences if she doesn't. Donna calls a break to the trek and she comforts Tabitha, saying she never wants another note like the one Tabitha left on her nightstand. Donna thinks of Tabitha and her kids as family, as much as her blood relatives, and makes Tabitha promise if there's something risky to be done from now on, Donna should be the one to do it. As Tabitha agrees, Ethan calls to his mum. He's found an injured starling on the ground and, reminding them they've only ever seen crows before this, thinks they should take the bird to see if it can be healed by the lake. At the diner, Christy and Marielle watch Sophia stand and stare at the Dale pool feature and contemplate how hard it must be for Sophia to have lost the person she was with. Christy says that Sophia prays a lot, and a scathing Marielle says that higher power stuff was the one part of NA she never got on with, and this place is absolutely proof of the non-existence of someone watching out for us. Christy looks uncomfortable. Sarah walks into the diner, sits at the counter, pours a drink, takes a sip, and then puts the drink down. Chickening out, however, her voice is induced tear. Bacta comes out of the kitchen and reassures Sarah that she's earned a place here and she can come help out whenever she wants. In response to the kindness, Sarah asks Bacta to dump out the glass of water. Immediately, a scream comes from outside, and Marielle runs to find Sophia lying injured in the pool. Sarah's horrified as Sophia says she felt something push her and goes back into the diner and completes the task with voices after her. Then she waits. On Colney House's porch, Jade reveals he's eavesdropped on the whole Gollum thing and says to an unsettled Boyd that he's only taking the mushrooms because of what happened to him and Tabitha, and that maybe Boyd should not be asking Fatima why she's doing this, but why now. Arriving at the settlement, Donna is freaked out by the totem, which Ethan assures her ward off evil spirits, before instructing everyone to get food gathering. Randall finds Julie cutting her hair in the bathroom, explaining she won't let the monsters catch her by the hair again. Wrong haircut for that, babe. They go to the ruins where Julie explains the pen and paper that Randall has gathered for her is to make the bookmark. She explains she'll make a mark on the paper when she's in the past and leave it there, and then to go back to the spot, she just draws that mark again. Randall seems as convinced on this as I am, but agrees to pull her out of the ruins after 5 seconds. When she enters, Julie finds herself in town, after the town has been massacred when Victor was young, where she's horrified to see the man in yellow chowing down on one of the bodies. He senses her presence and comes after her, but she manages to draw the symbol and drop the paper before Randall pulls her out, saving her from the man's grasp. Julie comes to, distraught to find the bit of paper in her pocket does not have the mark on it. No, I don't understand it either. After several failed attempts, Victor digs up a bag beside his truck. Henry looks at the drawings inside as Victor explains that the man in yellow came in a car like everyone else. They made him their friend, but he wasn't just like them. Henry becomes distraught when he sees the final drawing, as Victor continues that when everyone died, Victor found the man in yellow eating Miranda's remains at the bottle tree. Christy tells Sophia that her wrist is broken, but Sophia believes this is just another test from God, and while Marielle seems uncomfortable, talks to Christy about Abraham being tested by God to kill his son. As she speaks, we see Sarah at the diner, waiting for someone to take a drink, but no one does, and Bacta dumps the water down the sink, as Sophia says that Abraham's son was never meant to die. God just wanted to test if Abraham would actually do it, making Sarah's test clear. Boyd and Kenny return to talk to Fatima together and ask why she's creating the golem now. Fatima reveals that she can still feel the thing she birthed. She's connected to it and it to her. It can sense her fear and it likes it. Doing this makes her feel strong. This satisfies the pair and Kenny agrees to keep people away from the room, with Boyd agreeing maybe a champion would be a good thing right now. As he walks down the stairs, a gentle clang alerts him to a wedding ring falling at his feet. He picks it up and sees the infinity symbol, which shows it's Abby's ring. Grabbing Jade, he rushes back to the post office and puts the ring on his nightstand while he searches his memory box for the original. However, when he finds it, he turns to see the one on the nightstand has vanished. The settlement group is pulling up vegetables while Tabitha and Donna bathe Ethan's bird in the lake water. When Roger finds a buried heavy rope, pulling on it, something begins to bubble and rise in the center of the lake.
Ooh.
What a lot going on! Yes, it was a lot of all over the place. We're at the lake. We're in the town. We're at Colney House.
We're back in time.
So should we go on to our MVP?
Who's getting your pancakes this week?
Hang on, and I'll tell you. It is Jade, because he's doing the thing. He's taking his shrooms. He's putting his life on the line to get some answers.
Oh man, as a large enthusiast of mushrooms myself, that is a chance I am not willing. I don't know if I'd be willing to do mushrooms in Fromily. That's pretty intense.
It's quite, as someone who isn't fond of any kind of mushroom, it's quite a thing. But also the conversation that you had with Boyd, that eavesdropped on the whole Gollum thing, obviously, because Jade needs to know everything that's happening.
Yes, of course.
But I like that he had thought through, let's change the angle we're coming at this. No, let's not ask her why she's doing it, but why now? What's changed? Other than the fact she just gave birth.
I'm giving my pancakes to Julie this week. I just think Julie's a badass. I love that she's trying, even though she's been told it's impossible. She's not willing to take impossible for an answer. I'm going to keep trying to save my dad, because what else can she do? Accept that he's dead and move on? No. That's what healthy people do. We don't play that on the prom.
No, plus there was all that slamming of doors and things that went in the kitchen.
There's all that weirdness. I definitely think if I were in her position, I would be exploring those powers as much as I could. I'd probably be taking a lot more precautions than Julie seems willing to take.
I'll be mentioning that later.
You want to get into our top fives?
Yes, let's do that. My number 5 is Fatima's openness. When we saw her after they went back to Conley House after she'd birthed the thing, and she was really upset with everybody and talking about their medical gaslighting of her and how nobody understood what had happened. But here she's just completely open about it, even though it seems like she's hiding it. She's doing it up in the attic and things. But as soon as Boyd asks, she's just like, oh, so this is what I'm doing. And I thought it's so good, because in so many lesser horror dramas, people keeping secrets is always the thing that is people's undoing. So I love that she's like, I'm going to tell you what I'm doing, so you don't think I'm still possessed by evil and going to kill somebody else. I'm doing something good.
I really enjoy her journeying back to agency after being literally possessed and taken over last season.
It's nice to see her back to the Fatima that we were enjoying in season
the
1.
Earlier episodes.
Yes, before she was just vegetables.
Binging that show, her journey is just so brutal. It really is.
Harsh. She is by far the worst one. Sarah starts off really bad, and she sort of come, it's on an upward plane, whereas Tabitha was just going down. Poor Fatima.
My number 5 is Henry helping Victor measure. I really love that he's trying to meet him on his level and understand. He doesn't necessarily get it, but he knows it's important to Victor, and that's all that matters. And that's what a good parent does. It's just, I'm so, people will still think Henry's evil.
What?
And yes, I'm not saying that maybe there's nothing that we don't know about Henry, but I do not think Henry at his core is a bad person. No. He seems like a lovely person who's been through a lot of trauma, just like most everyone else on the show.
We can tell by Victor's reaction to him that he was obviously a good father. He had no qualms about seeing his father again. So why would people? Oh, I don't know. People think everybody's evil.
People are terrified to disappoint bad parents.
Funnily enough, that's actually my number 4. Is Henry basically, and it's sort of in a more overall way, just continuing to be a great dad to Victor. I loved that when Boyd's like, oh, we need to question Victor, Henry's like, no, I am the only one who will talk to him. This is my son, who is deeply traumatized, who is still emotionally a child. If anybody's going to ask him about this thing, which is obviously truly horrific, it's going to be me. And then, as you say, the way he does it is meeting him on his level, is saying, right, this thing's important to you, I'm going to do it with you. Teach me what to do, teach me how to be there. And you're measuring at the same time. He's not doing anything, he's just literally being there with Victor. And it's just so lovely to see such an example of great parenting after Jim.
I cannot imagine Jim having the patience for an adult disabled child the way that Henry does. It's like, there's absolutely nothing. They have that discussion last season. There is nothing wrong with Victor. Victor is not broken. He's a product of his environment. And instead of trying to ignore all that, embracing it and meeting him at his level as a much better way to go about things.
Yeah,
not all people get that.
No. Victor just hasn't had the emotional input from older people that children need to bring them up. That's all that's caused him to be the way he is. He hasn't had the same parental figure that really has looked after him. And so to have that figure there now is in a way, it's taking him back to his childhood and giving him back some of the stuff he lost by being raised by evil. So that was my number 4.
My number 4 was Sarah and Elgin's moment of talking things out in the church. It was really nice reflection back on the first scene where they meet. They've both been on some journeys since then, and have them after, especially where they left off last season, have them meeting again the first time after all that stuff went down in the first place that they met. They kind of meeting back on even territory. And I love that Elgin doesn't blame her, really. I feel like once everyone's been touched by Fromily, like,
yes,
I get it. Everyone gets a pass. Everyone gets one crazy. Well, Sarah can have 3 or 4.
That is my number 3. It's Sarah and Elgin's conversation. Because all the reason you said, I really am glad that Elgin has someone to talk to after what he's gone through. Fatima was amazing, and last episode was saying it's not your fault, and she wanted him to do that for her. But to have someone who's gone through the same thing in a more similar way than Fatima, because obviously Fatima's was very different, the same mental state of, this is going to help us get out, yay! And then no, it's bad. And I just really like that his relationship with Sarah, that they're able to, that she too has somebody that she can say, I've heard this, it's not Boyd, she's not going to Boyd to say, I think you should know this, the way the whole thing with Nathan played out. It's someone, she's not taking it to an authority figure, she's talking to her friend about, so what do I do? And it's really nice. I don't see them as a romantic relationship, but I love their friendship.
I agree. I wouldn't hate it, but
no, I wouldn't hate it.
I don't see it, really.
No.
My number 3 is Sophia's final monologue, the Abraham story, and just her telling it over Sarah's actions and watching Sarah have a meltdown. It was really cool. Julia Doyle is such a great actress.
Amazing.
I'm loving her work in this season. I love to hate her. She's excellent, and I've been a big Sarah fan since halfway through season 2. And it's interesting. I'm really excited to see how this eventually plays out and how Sarah is going to be manipulated by Sophia, both in her own home and being able to control her externally through the voices.
It obviously is like, this is the forerunner to something else that's going to make Sarah, and it's like, what is it that they're going to make her do is scary. I love that they're bringing in these biblical references via Sophia. I think that's really interesting. Makes us have to go and look at my childhood Bible studies. What can I remember?
I didn't have those.
Oh, you are okay. I'll be the biblical scholar for the broadcast. I can still name all the books in the Bible in order, but I won't.
Oh my goodness.
I
know
did
all the words to Jacob and Sons from Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. That's part of the Bible, right?
Yes, that is, yes. There's a lot of the Old Testament, which is just a list of, and then he begat him. Skip that bit. Mine is that Tabitha, number 2, is Tabitha and Donna in the wood. I loved that conversation. I love sisterly friendship, aunt, mother, whatever you want to call the relationship. But to me, Donna is the big sister, and she's recognized immediately when that Tabitha was struggling and sat her down, and then for her to openly say, "You are my family," as much as our own relatives, her sister was, and it's up to me. Let me make any sacrifices. Let me take any risks. I love that. Donna is my number 1. I think my number 1 character in From.
It's always a tie between Donna and Boyd for me. I can never pick.
But this is why I love her, because she's such a practical, helpful person. It's like the old saying that when people are in distress and sort of going through something, and people say, "Let me know if I can do anything," that's no good. That doesn't help. You need to say, "This is what I am going to do to help you." And that's what the kind of person that Donna is. She's like, "I'm just going to do this." And I'm going to take this. I loved the symbolism that she's literally taking Tabitha's weight off her shoulders. That she's saying, "Let me carry this burden. Don't you do it."
That's such a good point. Jeez, I didn't even think about that.
They're taking this break from the trek, and she's taking her burden from her. I love that. So I just love Donna, full stop. And
me too.
Having her have a friendship that isn't Boyd is just fantastic.
That was my number 1, but I'll move it to my number 2, so we can just make one conversation out of it. I saw someone call Donna the anti-bimbo, the other anti-damsel. And I was like, that is the perfect description of her. She is just such a girl's girl, such a powerful force of a character. She doesn't take shit from anyone. She demands respect, and I love that about her. And I love that doesn't keep her from being soft and caring and loving and a woman. And she's such a multifaceted, well-written character. And her telling Tabitha, like, you really have to think about the fact that these people have only known each other for like 6 weeks. It hasn't been, but they've just been through so much together at this point. Like, I don't feel like if I were in Donna's place, I would have said something different, because what else do you say to someone who's just lost their husband, and now they're left with they already lost a child, now they've lost a husband in this place where no one ever escapes, and there's very little hope. It's
and her son keeps running away.
Right?
Yes.
He needs to be a leash kid. For real.
I was on reins when I was young. Reins were great. Bring them back. Well, I think they became like, "Oh no, you can't rein your child." Yes, you can. They're small children. They'll run into traffic.
Put my little brother on one for sure. The ones for dogs that you can be like, not really, just kidding. My brother's fine.
So my number 1 is Sarah and Bacta. Oh, that scene just really touched me. The way it changed what Sarah was going to do in that moment, that she was going to carry it. She was going to do it, but then Bacta's friendship and acceptance of Sarah, and saying, "You belong here as much as anybody else, and I don't care what's happened in the past. I care about who I see in front of me, and you're somebody I want by my side." And that changes what Sarah does in that moment. Obviously, then she has to carry on. But what we were saying last episode about back to opening up the diner and how thoughtful that is, that she knows that people need it, that Chen would have wanted it. I really like who Bacta is becoming, and I hope we get so much more of her.
I was so happy to finally see her in this season.
Yes.
It has been a minute.
After we were in the grave, we're going, where's Bacta? That
there. I did find her in that scene, but she's in the episode, but you hear.
No. What's your number one?
My number one was the Donna scene, but it is now just Fatima reclaiming her sense of self. I love the idea that she is making a giant monster at a colony house. I have high hopes that is going to provide us some interesting scenes in the future. I love Fatima. I'm a big Fatima defender, and I'm really getting sick of people blaming her for the stuff that happened last season, because she did not have control or agency over her own body at that time. And I love that she's just like, what a terrifying thing to discover, that not only have you given birth to this monster, but you're still connected to it psychically. You can still feel it. She can still... We don't know exactly how far it goes, but it's terrifying to think of what the ramifications of that could be, where she might end up witnessing him killing someone she cares about, or a number of any other sorts of things those evil little critters get up to. I really loved her bringing back up her dad and talking a bit just more about her past, especially right now. I think she talks about how her dad was into all kinds of different belief systems, but it's just important to highlight Iranian heritage right now. Absolutely. And I love that there's a character on the show that does that.
That I was so delighted that she brought that up again, because I can't think, have we had any other character talk about their past as vividly as that, other than Victor. And that to me makes it feel like whatever her connection with her father is, father-daughter, but you know what I mean, that maybe it is important in going forward, that somehow her relationship with her father is really going to play into things. I don't know how, but it seems like she is one of the people, along with Boyd and Miranda and Jade, who has a strong connection to the town, but just in a way we don't quite get yet. So I'm really interested to see if they explore that further.
I'm really curious if that's ever happened before, that they've managed to kill a monster, bring it back through a town pregnancy.
Yes. Town pregnancy. It's a group pregnancy.
Everybody's getting a baby.
You're getting a baby. You get an evil baby. You get an evil baby.
You want to head into our debate segment?
Yes, let's do that.
Fromily debate team. This week we are going to debate whether or not Sarah should have taken the drink. You're going to go first, right, Dawn?
Yes. And I shall... Did I say against it? Am I going against it? I can't remember.
You're against and I'm for. Alright. Ready?
Yes. So, have you learned nothing, Sarah? That's all I need to say. No, these voices lie. We know they lie. We know they do it to manipulate. She knows that, and now Elgin knows that. They obviously have another purpose other than the actual thing they want her to do. When she left the door open and it was literal death, but it's obviously something more than that. She knows that. She should be aware of that. And even though we saw Sophia injured, it doesn't matter if you do or don't do it. Someone is going to be injured, whatever, because you didn't kill Ethan, and yet your brother died. Nathan wasn't part of the threat about Ethan. Somehow that's what happened. You were trying to go with it, and still your brother died. So if you go with it, something awful is going to happen, and there is absolutely no guarantee, nothing wrong. And we're just going to let the public decide this one.
If the audience would like to pick a winner, I'm going to guess that it's going to be Dawn, because my brains are soup.
3, 2, 1, go.
All right, Sarah's operating with the best information that she has available, which is cause and effect. If I don't follow what the voices says, regardless, someone is going to get hurt. And she tries to, she's decides she's not going to do it, and someone immediately gets hurt. And maybe it's a little too close, to be cause and effect, but she doesn't know that. The town has made promises and delivered plenty of times. So I don't blame her for being afraid of what else could happen. I can't say that I necessarily would have done the same thing, but I can't say that I wouldn't either. The thing that gives me pause is that Sarah doesn't know Sophia that well. So them saying someone you care about, I would expect it to be someone she really cared about that they went after first. But it makes sense. She's a good person. She cares about everyone. She doesn't want anyone to get hurt. Thanks.
That is a really good point. That is a very good point. So there you go. You might win on that one. I thought about it at the time, but I forgot about it. Surely it would be someone she is closer to, someone like Bacta, who's just been nice to her, or Kenny, who's always nice to her. Since she has a connection with Kenny, so it's really weird. Well, she did. No answer was the right answer, I think, because if she didn't do it, somebody's going to get hurt. She does do it, somebody's going to get hurt. I suppose there's a chance of you go, well, let's just see where this takes us.
Transferring the voices to someone else is very legitimate, too. Like, I don't want to be responsible for putting someone else through that. It's obviously horrifically painful for her.
It's everything she's gone through, all the trauma, and her and Elgin, the idea that somebody else is going to take that mantle on is interesting for her. There's absolutely no reason why it wouldn't happen. We don't know the rules of this place.
We don't. Not
as Boyd
even any closer.
Nope.
So one of those people who don't think we have had no answers. I'm not one of those people. But it would be nice to know the rules.
Yes. Or some of them, anyway.
Who's going in the box for you this week?
Well, it's controversial after your Pancakes, because I put Julie in the box. Not because she's not trying, but because she has not thought it through in any way.
Yeah.
It was so rash. So there's nothing. And I don't know if that's just because we haven't had an explanation, or if in the books it goes into more details of what these bookmarks are and how to create them. But it's just like she plucks it out of thin air. Oh, this is how it works. Is it? Okay.
I don't understand how that was supposed to work exactly.
No. What the part I don't understand is why she's devastated that there's no mark on the bit of paper. Because if she's left it in the past, if she's dropped it in the past and it is a physical bit of paper, then it would still be in the past.
It'll be there.
But if it would still be on her and have, I just don't.
Yeah, I don't know why she wouldn't have drawn an X on it and then put it back in
her pocket. That's what I thought. Yes.
And then tried to go back to that same time.
Yes. Then when she has the X on her, she'll go back to that time because that's when she created it. That's what it seems like to me.
Makes more sense to me.
Yeah. I just didn't. I was like, am I really thick? I'm not following the reasoning to this at all.
It didn't make sense to me either.
No. But I don't know if that's a Julie issue or a writer issue. I can't say.
I mean, time travel stuff is always hard for me to follow. Have you seen Dark?
No, I haven't, but I've heard about it. Yeah.
If you want to have a headache, I mean, it's an amazing show. I shouldn't say it like that, but it is trying to figure out who is whose mom.
Oh, that's a problem.
Is everybody grandpa's. LVP this week is Julie's wig. I know we've discussed it at length, but it's so bad in this episode. There's no way you can cut a bob that even standing in the sink. Also, cutting your hair so the monsters won't grab it. Julie babes. That's a lot of hair. That's plenty of grabbable hair. My hair shoulder length. There's plenty to grab. It would be better putting it in a bun or some kind of tactical claw. I don't know.
It makes zero sense whatsoever. In The Walking Dead, people always theorized, and then it was made canon, that Carol had short hair so that her abusive husband could not pull her by it. And she had hair that you cannot even so short.
You can't grip that. That's exactly.
That's the kind of hair. Not a. And I mean, it's not even a bob like my length.
No,
even longer than that.
Shoulder length. It's a light trim at best.
And it's sitting so far back on her head.
Yeah, well, it's not laid well.
No.
That's what I'll just roll into my number 5 because the wig work is whack of this whole season.
Yes.
Tabitha's wig is toe up. Sarah's wig looks awful. Julie's wig does not look attached to her head. I'm a big wig complainer. It is one of my top pet peeves on a production. Man, am I alliterating today. It's a skill that not every hairdresser knows, and if you are going to be using wigs, you need to hire people who know how to lay wigs.
Yes.
It's not that complicated, and everyone's wig shouldn't be floating off the top of their scalp. Sarah looks like Chewbacca tucked into the back of her sweater.
Why are they all so fuzzy and
bushy?
Yeah. Even Jim's was like, as I said, they can't replicate actual curls. It was just frizzy waves. I don't understand a show that does so well in physical props and the aesthetic is so strong. How this one thing is just so bad.
It's weird that it's so many of us. There's just one person, maybe they just don't have a wig head, it's everyone. It's all of the women who are wearing wigs this season. Sarah has Avi Conrad has beautiful hair, but it is so thick. There's so much of this like hair piece in the back. I don't get it.
No.
You all still look beautiful, but it's just strange.
And Tabitha's weird blonde highlights. Where did they come from?
I guess they just grew in overnight from being shocked.
She was in she was in the From salon in the woods. Just when a creature touches you, they give you a blonde streak. Oh dear. My number 5, I've talked it to death, so I won't do it, is Julie's plan. It makes no sense. What's a bookmark? Can we come up with something that actually works? I was thinking maybe she could have left an item of her clothing if she's physically there in some manner. I don't know. I really, then it would be in 2 timelines. As you say, timey-wimey stuff is always difficult, but I just don't think they explained it enough. I don't think there was enough logic. I'm assuming she is going to figure it out, so hopefully this is just an aberration that will be passed. And
she figures out how to get to where Jim is. At some point, she's going to figure it out.
And she's got a scratch when she sees Jim, so see what happens there. So that was my number 5. I've been over it. I won't dwell.
That's my number 4. It's the same thing. It's also the man in yellow going all Hannibal Lecter. Literally just chewing a liver. Just like having a nosh.
The corn on the cob. He was like,
it was gross. That was some imagery I did not need in my life that day. But oh my god, when he starts to walk towards her.
Oh yes.
I was very stressed out. This is my big Eloise theory, is that she died while she was story walking. But my thought is that she is story walking and her physical body is at the ruins and her physical body has died. Monsters got to it, or she seized for too long. I don't know how it works. She passes away somehow, and her soul or spirit or essence or whatever is still like alive and active and caught in the story walking loop to find a place to land because her body's not there anymore. But I really don't want to have to use Julie to find out if that's accurate.
Let's not do that. No, that makes total sense, because if you think about Eloise leaving after her mother, and that maybe if she's too late to save her mother, that she runs to the ruins to try and save her via story walking, but physically dies and is trapped wherever. That makes total sense.
That is my thought at the moment.
My number 4 is the reveal of Miranda's death being, well, not that how she died, but what happened to her after she died. The way that it was done through the drawings again, and what a horrible drawing to have. That,
I know.
Can you imagine 10-year-old or whatever he was, Victor drawing that and then burying it? Just
that
horrific.
was my number 1, but I'll move it down so we can just have one conversation again. That's the main thing that I could not stop thinking about, is that not only did he see that happen to his mom, but he sat down and drew it because he was like, at some point I'm going to have to remember this. And then buried it because it was too hard to get that. It is the worst.
Poor Victor. It's no wonder.
Look of horror on Henry's face as he's processing all of this. Jesus, what a scene.
It's amazing acting by everybody. And I didn't see that coming. When Victor had that reaction to the man in yellow, I thought it would be something directly about him. He had experienced something. But to make it his mother was just even worse.
I mean, we saw her pass. We saw her get by Smiley.
Yes.
I was not imagining, oh, wait, there's more.
Yes. You thought this was awful. Wait till you find out what happens after she's dead. Because it connects back to that scene where he's showing Henry our grave, and it just gives you all these more layers to think. You're projecting back to that scene, and no.
Like, what did he load up in a wheelbarrow to take her to bury?
Yes, exactly. He had to then He had to go back to that body after the man in yellow was eaten however much of it. We don't know how much he ate and why. As you're saying about answers, people talk about answers. This is a huge answer from a question. At the end of season 3, we were like, who is the man in yellow? Well, we know so much about him from this episode. He arrived in a car like everybody else. He befriended everyone. But then this happened and he eats people. So, we learned so much in one episode. It really annoys me when people.
And that's been something. So does he come out every night and eat those remains, or
that's
because
a good question.
People are assuming he was summoned by the song, but I don't think that that's necessarily true.
No,
because he showed up in a car the last time. So.
Oh, but then he came in a car this time too.
But not as himself.
Yes, not as himself. But I wonder if he replaced someone else who's in the car, or we don't know, because he seems to be the most powerful person there. So how far back does he go?
My thought is that Sophia was a person in the town at one point, and he just liked her, or he definitely is feeling himself in that Sophia costume. So, he thought she was interesting or whatever, but he kept her possessions so that he could shape change into her. And I think Acosta is going to find a picture of her from the 70s or whenever she was there before, and while she's searching through the basement, and out her. That's my thought.
That's a really good point, because that outfit Sophie is wearing could be like 60s, 1960s, 70s. That's a really good point. So what number am I on? Number 3 now?
With 3.
Number 3 is Sarah's task. We've discussed it in the debate, but what a rock and a hard place she is with that. And I hate that for her, that she thought it was gone. She thought the voices were never coming back to her. And it's just poor Sarah. And that the scene where she's just sitting in the diner watching it, waiting to see who's going to be the one to take a drink from that water. Oh, what torture that is for her. The torture we see is often so literal and physical, but that is just the kind of emotional torture, and she just keeps taking it again and again. She's so resilient, so determined to help people, but it's horrible, absolutely horrible. But I will say, my own PTSD from high school. When I first started high school, they used to have jugs of water on every table, exactly like that. You wouldn't want to drink from them either. Let's just, there would be bread stuck in them. People would put out cigarettes in them.
Oh, goodness.
So, communal water, never touch it.
No, mine was the same. My number 3 was the same. I talked about this before, but the voices seem awful. It seems like a terrible experience. Did she fall down the stairs? Was that this time, or was that?
She falls down the stairs.
It seems awful. And I really thought she thought they had moved on to Elgin, or it had decided that she wasn't useful anymore. Definitely thought she thought it was over, and it coming back to her was just so sad. It sucked to see. I hate that they're trying to pit Sarah against the town again. Let this girl live her life. She has done enough. He made her kill her brother. Give her a break.
I hate that we're starting to see what exactly Sophia's going to be doing. That she's going to start turning everybody against each other. Like in this episode, you can see there's going to be something about religion between Marielle and Christy that's going to start eating away at their relationship. It's
definitely her influence is not a positive one on anybody.
No.
She does not seem to be helping people out.
No. My number 2 is the injured bird, which should seem a good thing. Oh, we've seen a new... No! Why now is the question. You're luring Ethan. He's only a little boy. Leave him alone. They've never seen any other birds other than crows the entire time they've been there. And suddenly one appears and it's a little injured bird.
It's weird.
Highly suspicious. I think that bird's going to be doing something. I don't know what. But the whole thing of it, just, if I was Tabitha, I'd be going, we've not seen any birds other than crows. Don't be picking that up. Don't put it in your backpack. Don't put it in your hands. No.
Back where it came from, or so help me.
Exactly. Leave the bird alone. Yes. I am concerned for Ethan and that bird. Let's put it that way.
Same. My number 1 is basically the same thing. It's not the bird, but the ominous bubbling from the center of the lake.
Yes.
I would have dropped that shit immediately and been going back. We're going home. We're down here. We're gonna head in a light jog. I never jogged ever in my life, and I would do it now.
What did Roger think he was pulling at? Did he think he would pull out the plug and all the water would drain away?
Giant plug at the bottom of every lake. You can drain it. What
are
you doing?
Or was it? Did he think
an ominous rope?
Or did he think it was an anchor? And if you pulled that up, they would all start floating away. Roger, what are you thinking? Yes. No, I don't know. What you're thinking when you're in From and you find something new, just leave it alone. Just walk away. Pretend you didn't see it.
Seriously, stop checking out new things. You don't want to know what it is. It's not going to be positive.
No.
I'm a very adventurous person for the most part, but
in that world, you're not going to.
No.
So have I said my number 1? No. No, I haven't.
Have you?
No, I don't think I have.
No, I think it's your turn.
My turn? Oh, that's right. So it is. It's what my name is. Tabitha, possessed by the spirit of Jim. what is going on?
So random.
Oh, last episode, she's like, I'm just going to leave a note and leave my children. And now she's like, I'm going to start thinking Randall's lusting after Julie. I'm going to... What are you doing?
Why don't you have the sense to trust your daughter if she says it's not like that?
Exactly. And she told Jim it wasn't like that. So I'm assuming he told you that. And you have no reason to think that she's lying. Why would she be lying? There's no reason for that. And then to just give that talking to Randall, what's that about? What could you possibly do to him that hasn't done to him?
Right?
Do you dare touch my daughter and I'll make you think there's the cat is everywhere? No, I don't like it.
Did not understand that at all.
No, it didn't need it, and I don't know.
Unless that's where their characters are heading, and I really hope they aren't. I really hope they aren't. I do not want to see that. Not that I think Randall's doing a great job redeeming himself, but I think he's obviously too old for Julie. If Julie is supposed to be 17.
We don't know how old Randall's supposed to be, but I'm thinking 23, 20.
At least like 23 minimum, and that's
being generous. Yes, it's
like an Angel. How Angel on Buffy was supposed to be 23 going on 42 for the whole series. Vampire of the Dead.
That's why they've abandoned and be reboot, because we can't bring back these people and say they're ageless. But yes,
Mercer's at least is in the shape that you could CGI him younger without it being too weird. But
no, not
Boreanaz had that Alec Baldwin head thickening that happens. I don't know what that is, but
yes, I do know there are some people shipping Julie and Randall.
Yeah.
I saw an edit this week, but I don't know. I can't see it. They've denied it twice now and said it's not like that. And one denial, but two denials, I'm starting to think, no, the writers are telling you.
I just don't understand what else they're doing if they're constantly pairing them off and then having them be like, we're not interested in each other.
And let's just not forget Julie asking Fatima to kiss her. So maybe Julie isn't interested in Randall at all.
What I'm hoping for.
Yes. Oh, well, that's it. Even though it's only two of us, we still managed to go for an hour. So
it worked out pretty great.
Well done for holding it together and staying upright.
Thank you. I did my best. Our interview with Samantha Brown, who plays Acosta, is coming out soon. Keep your eye out for that. We are doing a fundraiser for her, Samantha Brown's Second Harvest Canada. And the fundraiser is in the corner up there. Or maybe up there. I'm not sure if it's going to mirror me later. But one of these corners, you'll find it. I think that's it. Do you have anything else?
Nope. I'm all good. I'm looking forward to people seeing our interview with Samantha Brown, because she was lovely.
It was such a good time.
It makes it really hard to hate Acosta.
I know. When she said she'd seen our episodes, I was like,
that's worrying.
Easy on you. A little bit.
But no, we know it's not her. She's a great actress.
She's a wonderful actress. Yeah. Make sure I say that every time, because I really hate people's inability to separate person from character. Anyway, well, sign off for this week, and I will hopefully see you guys on Sunday for our live, if Kelly and I are both still alive by then. And if not, we'll see you back next week for another breakdown. Have a good night, everybody.
Bye.